When my husband of 40 years eloped with his widowed sister-in-law, they got into a car accident. Before he died, he grabbed my hand, his face full of unwillingness. Myra Lynn, you must bury me together with Lulu Lee. In the next life, I want to be her husband and wife. I asked through tears. Jet Yu, do you really love her that much? He nodded and replied in a faint voice. Love, my love for her, is as enduring as the sea drying up and rocks crumbling, steadfast as a rock, if there is an afterlife. I want to be with her, one life, one person. He loves his widowed sister-in-law. Then what does all my effort over most of my life count for? The feeling of betrayal made my whole body tremble. Wiping away my tears, I sneered and agreed to his request. Jet Yu, you can go ahead and die with peace of mind. If there is a next life, I will definitely make sure you two get your wish. 1. When I opened my eyes again, it was the moment Jet Yu brought my sister-in-law Lulu Lee home. Seeing me standing there in a daze, Gideon Lee raised his voice impatiently. Myra Lynn, are you deaf? With our elder brother gone, it's not easy for my sister-in-law to raise the child alone. I've brought her and the child to live with us. Tidy up the main room for sister-in-law and Nyo-Nyo to stay in. Also, sister-in-law is in poor health, and Nyo-Nyo is growing, so make sure they each have an egg every day. In my previous life, I refused Jet Yu's request. Because I knew that sister-in-law Lulu Lee was originally Jet Yu's girlfriend, it was just an accident. But brother Jet Yu was seriously injured. To bring good fortune to brother, the Yu family forced Lulu Lee to remarry the eldest brother. Fully aware of this situation and fearing that Jet Yu and Lulu Lee might rekindle their relationship, I firmly refused. At the time, I told Jet Yu, it's not easy for my sister-in-law to raise the child alone. We can help her with the spring planting and autumn harvest. We can also provide her with grain and cloth coupons so she won't have to worry about the future. Bringing her into our home might not be appropriate. She will likely remarry someday. People in the countryside love to gossip. If rumors spread, it won't sound good. Lulu Lee burst into loud sobs, turned around with her child, and ran away. The Yu family can't stand us, mother and child. We might as well just die. Coincidentally, a startled yellow ox from the production team charged over and collided with the mother and child. The child died on the spot. Lulu Lee was seriously injured. Representatives from the production team and the commune came to discuss compensation matters. Since I worked at the supply and marketing cooperative and knew many people, I swallowed my pride and pleaded with the commune leaders to provide more compensation. In the end, Lulu Lee received a large compensation payment. After the deceased child was buried, Lulu Lee left with that huge sum of money and never returned. After this incident, Jet Yu and I had a cold war for a while. Neither of us said anything, but we both knew it clearly. The death of my nephew and Lulu Lee's departure became a thorn in each other's hearts. After the reform and opening up, the supply and marketing cooperatives went out of business. I took over the supply and marketing cooperative and turned it into a supermarket. The business grew bigger and bigger, and the money kept rolling in. Jet Yu made up with me again. I felt guilty. I always feel that my nephew's death and Lulu Lee's departure are related to what I said that day. So, I grant Jet Yu whatever he asks for. When motorcycles first became popular, I bought one for Jet Yu. When mobile phones first became popular, I bought one for Jet Yu. When cars became popular among the common people, I was the first to buy one for him. Jet Yu became the most fashionably dressed man in all the surrounding villages. I thought he and I could support each other until old age. Being buried together after death would make for a complete and fulfilling life. Who would have thought that at the age of 60, he actually ran away with Lulu Lee? That day, I organized a birthday party for him and booked a hotel. He was late and didn't show up. I called him, but he didn't answer. Later, I received a text message saying, Myra Lynn, you are a boring and materialistic woman. All these years of marriage, being with you has exhausted me. I want to be with Lulu Lee. Right now, I'm taking her on a trip abroad. When we return, we'll get a divorce. My hands are trembling with anger, and my whole body is shaking. If he wanted to be with Lulu Lee, he could have told me. I'm not the kind of person who clings desperately. It's already the 21st century, and society is open-minded. Divorce is nothing to be ashamed of. Instead of telling me, he went and did the disgraceful act of eloping. A 60-year-old man's actions are no better than those of a 3-year-old child. All the books he's read have gone to waste. He went abroad to enjoy himself, leaving me alone to endure the guests' probing gazes. The guests noticed my pale complexion and asked if I was feeling unwell. I smiled and said, "I'm a bit tired. I'll be fine after resting for a while," to save face for Jetyu. I explained to everyone that he had something to do and would be arriving a bit later. I tried to calm myself down, while in my heart, I cursed Jetyu and his ancestors 18 generations over and over again. Just then, my phone rang. The traffic police called. Jetyu was in a car accident, too. Myra Lynn. "Are you stupid or deaf?" Jetyu pushed me hard. "I'm talking to you. Can't you hear me?" Lulu Lee looked at me, then glanced at Jetyu, and began to wipe her tears. "Jet, Myra Lynn doesn't want me here. I should go. If I cause a rift between you two as a couple, I'll feel guilty." As she spoke, her tears fell in a torrent. "Poor my Nyo-Nyo, at such a young age, you've lost your father and even a home." Jetyu's nephew Nyo-Nyo raised his head and glared at me fiercely. He charged at me like a little calf. "This is the home of my uncle and me, and we're both surnamed you. You are an outsider. Get out of here." I looked at Lulu Lee in surprise. If she didn't teach them these words, I wouldn't believe it even if I were beaten to death. A child of a few years old couldn't say such words. While I was lost in thought, Nyo-Nyo bumped into me again. Caught off guard, I landed on the ground with a thud. The pain jolted me awake. I've been reborn. I've been reborn in the 80s. The events of my past life flashed before my eyes like a movie. I sprang up from the ground like a carp leaping out of water, snatched the military green bag from Jetyu's hand. Then snatched the wash basin with the red double happiness character from Lulu Lee's hand, grabbed Nyo-Nyo's hand again, beamed at the three of them with a wide, toothy grin. "Hurry, hurry inside. Why be so polite with family? This is your home after all." My excessive enthusiasm left Jetyu stunned. Lulu Lee was even more nervous. She ducked her head and hid behind Jetyu. Only Nyo-Nyo was excited, jumping up high. He kicked off his cloth shoes with the toes exposed and climbed onto the kang to roll around and play. Jetyu froze for a few seconds before snapping out of it. He reached out to touch my forehead. "Myra Lynn, are you running a fever?" Before his hand could reach my forehead, Lulu Lee called out from over there, "Oh no." I twisted my ankle. "Jet, help me up quickly." Jetyu immediately let go of me and turned to support Lulu Lee. I sneered inwardly. Lulu Lee's White Lotus act has always worked on Jetyu. Seeing the corner of my lips curl, Jetyu paused for a moment while holding Lulu Lee's hand. His tone softened as he spoke. "Myra Lynn, I want to let sister-in-law and Nyo-Nyo live in the main house. Besides, since my elder brother passed away, my sister-in-law hasn't been in good health, and Nyo-Nyo is still growing. When you cook every morning, make sure each of them gets an egg." I interrupted Jetyu. "There's only one old hen at home, and it lays an egg only every 2 days. I can't go digging for eggs from the chicken's rear end every day either." Lulu Lee, who came from a wealthy peasant family, covered her lips. She chuckled mockingly. Like Jetyu, she always looked down on my crude speech and behavior. As a rural woman with only an elementary school education, I never learned the art of refined language. Jetyu is an elementary school teacher. Lulu Lee comes from a wealthy farming family and completed her education through junior high school. However, later on, the wealthy farmers were overthrown, and the Lee family fell into decline. The Yu family was so poor that even mice would shed tears when they came. Although poor, the status of being a poor or lower middle-class peasant was particularly desirable when it came to finding a partner for their children. Families preferred those from poor or lower middle-class backgrounds, while looking down upon those from rich peasant or capitalist families. Lulu Lee was interested in Jetyu and actively pursued him precisely because she valued his poor peasant background and respectable job. Jetyu is someone who judges people by their appearance. He was drawn to Lulu Lee's delicate and graceful appearance, as tender as a willow swaying in the wind. Both were cultured individuals, with endless conversations about ideals, ambitions, poetry, and literature. With mutual affection, they hit it off immediately. Watching them, I couldn't help but sigh with emotion. The wheel of fate has granted me rebirth, and in this life, I must bring the two of them together. A lifetime is such a long time. I want to see how the two of them will live out their entire lives. Without my financial support, could Jetyu live in a high-rise and drive luxury cars? Without me using my connections, could he have gone from a private school teacher to becoming a principal? I really want to see the outcome for the two of them. I kept spacing out, which made Lulu Lee overthink things. She started her White Lotus act again. Myra Lynn, are you regretting it now? It's not too late to change your mind. Just say the word, and I'll leave right away. I grabbed her arm and pulled her back, laughing as I wrapped an arm around her shoulder. Sister-in-law, you can't leave. If she leaves, I won't get to enjoy the show. I pushed Lulu Lee into the main room and laid out her bedding. Then I rolled up my own bedding and carried it away. Jetyu shouted, "Take mine too." I yelled back at him. "Go sleep with your wife." 3. Jetyu chased after me and grabbed me. His face flushed red as he scolded, "What nonsense are you talking, Myra Lynn? It's one thing to say you're uneducated, but your words are vulgar and your thoughts are filthy. You really have the nerve to say that. I wonder who it is that shows no respect for their age, running off with their widowed sister-in-law right after retiring. Even the heavens couldn't stand their disgraceful deeds, so a car accident took both their lives." I shook off his filthy hand. "Jetyu, as you know, I only graduated from elementary school. Do you regret it? If you do, we can get a divorce, and what's more, your refined tastes and literary pursuits don't work in the countryside. If you say it to a cow, the cow won't understand. If you say it to a horse, the horse will kick up its heels. Right now, the main task in life is to fill our bellies." Jetyu stood there in astonishment, somewhat at a loss. I've never been so sharp-tongued before. I quickly calmed down and teased him in a normal tone. "Jetyu, if you have Buddha in your heart, you think of Buddha. If you have demons in your heart, you think of demons. If you didn't have dirty thoughts, you wouldn't think of dirty things. A sister-in-law is like a mother, and a younger brother-in-law is like a son. Do you understand? Isn't it normal for you to live in the same room with your sister-in-law and help her take care of Nyonyo? Didn't you see the cloth curtain I hung in the middle of the kang? Or do you think it would be more appropriate for me to build a wall in the middle of the kang?" He's clearly a grown man, yet he acts so pretentiously and effeminately, even worse than some women. After I finished speaking rapidly like popping beans, I picked up my bedroll and left. Seeing that I didn't go to the side room but instead walked out the main gate, Jetyu chased after me again. "Where are you going, Myra Lynn?" I didn't even turn my head. "I'm going to stay at my brother's house. My sister-in-law said she's afraid to live alone after my brother died." "I'm not scared." Jetyu stopped me, his tone helpless. "Are you angry? I didn't mean anything by it. If I said something that offended you, I apologize. You're not wrong. I'm the one who's wrong." My eyes were covered in dog shit, and I misjudged the person. In my previous life, to make it up to him, I was cautious and endured endless humiliation. After being reborn, I need to cut my losses in time. It's not too late to pull out now. Pushing Jetyu away, I went to my elder brother's house. The heated brick bed was warm. I washed my face and feet, and when I slipped under the covers, my anxious heart finally settled down. In the quiet of the night, I began to sort through the events that had occurred in both lifetimes. The top priority is to divorce Jetyu. However, getting a divorce is not easy. It is now the 1980s. Although the reform and opening up has taken place, the social customs here are still quite conservative. If I rashly bring up divorce, my parents would be the first to object. Having lived 2 lives, I'm not afraid of others pointing fingers. What I fear most is my mother's emotional outbursts, crying, making a scene, or even threatening suicide. The older generation holds traditional beliefs about staying with one partner for life, even if I was abused by my husband and bullied by my mother-in-law. I gritted my teeth and endured, determined to stick with one person for life. My marriage to Jetyu was arranged by our parents when we were children. My father once said that after marriage, I would no longer bear the Lin surname. In life, I belong to the Yu family. In death, I am the Yu family's ghost. The feudal mindset of the older generation runs deep. Before my rebirth, I also held on to the notion of being faithful to one man until death. In my previous life, after he became wealthy, Jetyu would often not come home for days. He always claimed he was on duty at the school, and I believed him every time. It wasn't until he eloped with Lulu Lee, and I pieced together the earlier clues, that I became certain Jetyu and Lulu Lee had been secretly involved behind my back all along. In my previous life, the resentment and curses of Jetyu were still ringing in my ears as I died. In this life, I would rather become a nun at a temple than be his wife. I must seize Jetyu's weakness. Not only will I make him willingly agree to the divorce, but I will also turn the court of public opinion in the neighborhood to my side. More importantly, it allowed my parents to see Jet Yu's true colors. 4. The next day, I got up early to go home and cook. Neither Jet Yu nor Lulu Lee had gotten up yet. I knocked loudly on the door, and only then did they crawl out of bed, rubbing their sleepy eyes. I scooped 2 bowls of cornmeal, pulled a few scallions, and planned to make a pot of dough drop soup. I directed Jet Yu to help me with the fire, deliberately acting intimate by speaking close to his ear. Lulu Lee, washing her face inside the room, occasionally stole glances into the kitchen. Seeing us so close and whispering, she angrily threw down her towel. While eating, I looked at Jet Yu's face and even pinched his arm, saying with concern, "Since your elder brother passed away, you've gotten so thin from all the work. Tomorrow I'll buy some eggs to make egg drop soup for you." Seeing me being unusually gentle, Jet Yu nodded repeatedly. "The supply and marketing cooperative is also busy, so you need to take care of your health too." I was moved and leaned my head on Jet Yu's shoulder. "Jet, you're the only one in this world who treats me the best. Only you truly care about me." Lulu Lee stood nearby, slightly lowering her head, her face turning from pale to red, then from red to ashen. Her fingers tightly gripped the chopsticks. He slammed the chopsticks on the table and said, "I'm full." He got off the kang, slipped on his shoes, and went out. Acting is exhausting. Pretending makes me sick. Luckily, Lulu Lee lost her composure. She left, and I stopped pretending. After the meal, I got up and left, pushing a cart. I went from street to alley collecting mountain goods and herbs to sell in the city. In my previous life, after I contracted the supply and marketing cooperative, I managed daily operations while also working as an agricultural broker. Men are unreliable. So it's even more important to focus on your career. Given a second chance at life and holding the advantage, I am determined to start my career early. After a busy day, in the evening, I secretly returned home and crouched under the window at the back of the house to eavesdrop. In the morning, my intimate scene with Jet Yu provoked Lulu Lee. That night, she was sure to take action. Sure enough, under the moonlight, Lulu Lee lifted the cloth curtain, slipped into Jet Yu's bed, and hugged the scumbag. Sobbing softly, Jet Yu comforted her in a low voice. As they hugged, the two of them ended up rolling together. I quickly ran back to my parents' house and woke up my mom and dad. Then I went and woke up the village party secretary. The village party secretary, still drowsy and unhappy, asked, "You silly girl, why are you causing trouble in the middle of the night and not letting people sleep?" "Uncle Yang, there's a man in my house. I'm afraid some bad guy might bully my sister-in-law. They all live very close to my house, just a 3 to 5 minute walk away. With that lustful couple being like dry wood near a fierce fire, it shouldn't have ended so quickly." I had already confided the details to my dad beforehand, so he was the first to jump in. Immediately after, the village party secretary also climbed through the window frame and jumped into the room, pulling the light cord by the edge of the kang. The light bulb on the beam lit up, under the dim yellow light. Lulu Lee was riding on Jet Yu. Both were naked, their eyes dazed, bodies dripping with sweat, their disgraceful state unbearable to look at. I grabbed the feather duster and fiercely whipped the shameless couple, crying while smoking, "You two are bullying me too much, an uncle and his sister-in-law getting together. This is the crime of hooliganism." Jet Yu pushed Lulu Lee over in one swift motion. Panicking, I pulled on my pants, jumped off the kang, and knelt on the ground. "Myra Lynn, I was half asleep and mistook Lulu Lee for you. Please, let me go." "Damn it," he lied without batting an eye and dragged me into it as well. I slapped his face and his shoulders, hitting him even harder. The crying grew louder, and without tears, I wailed dryly, trying to alarm all the neighbors. Jet Yu cried so hard that snot ran from his nose. "Please have mercy. I can't afford to lose my job." Lulu Lee also hastily pulled on a vest and knelt on the ground. Trembling uncontrollably, the brigade secretary grabbed the scumbag by the ear and scolded, "I've watched you grow up, and look at you, so disappointing, doing such shameful things. If this gets out, how will you ever hold your head up in public again?" I cried my heart out, and the feather duster never stopped swinging. The adulterous couple dodged left and right, forced to shield their heads with their hands. The brigade secretary grabbed hold of me. "Stop, stop, what do you plan to do about this?" I shouted. "They're having an affair, shitting all over me." I want a divorce. 5. The next day. I went to the brigade secretary to get a letter of introduction and smoothly got the divorce. I moved back to my parents' home. When my mother saw the divorce certificate, she kept wiping away tears and sighing. I was wrong about Jetyu back then, getting involved with his sister-in-law. He's not even ashamed. He's trampling the Lin family's honor underfoot. My father scolded me. You little brat, you even scheme against me. You've got more tricks up your sleeve than a hornet's nest has holes. Be careful, or Jetyu might realize it later and come after you. I'm acting cute with him. I'm not afraid. After all, I caught them in the act. That's a fact. There are no parents in the world who can ultimately resist their children. They may find it hard to accept for now, but in the future, they will surely understand. However, they were still very disappointed. They believed that a woman who remarries would have a difficult life in the future. I then comforted them. Don't worry. The best days for our family are still ahead. That couple of scoundrels might not last till old age. In my previous life, I was the one who took care of all the household chores and social obligations. Jetyu looked down on me for being uneducated and too worldly. Yet he still enjoyed my meticulous service in every detail. Lulu Lee came from a wealthy farming family, apart from poetry and literature. She couldn't lift a finger or carry a load on her shoulders. I don't believe they can manage their lives well. Sure enough, my words came true. Not even half a month later, Nyo came running to my house. Auntie, help, my dad beat my mom to death. It was a matter of life and death, so without thinking twice, I rushed to the Yu family's house. Lulu Lee's hair was disheveled, and her face was smeared with both blood and soot from the bottom of a pot. Jetyu's eyes were bloodshot, seeing me arrive. He pointed at a pile of chicken feathers on the ground, his heart aching with distress. We only had one old hen in the house, kept for laying eggs, yet she killed it to stew and eat. Jetyu was hopping with anxiety, as if Lulu Lee hadn't killed a chicken but his own parents. I have a raw egg mixed in hot water every morning to nourish my body, and now it's gone. I looked toward the steaming large iron pot. The chicken was already cooked. I felt a sense of satisfaction. It's all my fault for spoiling Jetyu and making him so ill-tempered. Worried about his health, I would beat an egg into hot water every morning, then add some sugar. I couldn't bear to eat the good food myself, saving all the best for him. Now, the hen that laid the eggs has been stewed, and his special meals are gone. I shifted my gaze from the stewed chicken to Lulu Lee. Her eyes were so swollen they were barely slits, and she was half sprawled on the ground. She had just been crying, and tears still streaked her face. Hearing me approach, she staggered to her feet. Feeling that she had lost face, she yelled at me, "Myra Lin, I don't need you to laugh at me. Get out." She's like a mad dog, biting anyone in sight who wants to meddle in your family mess. If it weren't for Nyo crying and begging me to come, even if you knelt and pleaded, I wouldn't be here. I turned and walked away. Myra Lin, don't think I don't know. You still have feelings for Jetyu, let me tell you. Jetyu is married to me now. If you ever try to seduce him again, I'll break your legs. Damn it, I let her have the dog shit, and even if she treats it like treasure, so be it. How dare she insult me for still thinking about the dog shit? I won't indulge her either. You might eat the shit you've taken, but I won't. The treasure you think it is something I found too dirty to keep. If it weren't for Nyo worrying you'd get beaten to death, I wouldn't have come at all. What a case of biting the hand that feeds you. To make her give up completely, I deliberately revealed the truth to provoke her. That night when I caught them cheating, I set it up on purpose. I just wanted to divorce Jetyu. Lulu Lee was so angry she was trembling all over, pointing at me and cursing. How vulgar. No wonder my Jet doesn't want you. Jetyu has always loved me. If he didn't love me, your schemes would be useless. Seeing us arguing, Jetyu stepped forward and pushed me away. Myra Lin, please don't come to my house. My matters with Lulu Lee are none of your business. I raised my hand and slapped him. That slap was delivered with full force, sending Jetyu stumbling back several steps. Jetyu, don't you dare touch me. Today I was the fool. Remember this well. Even if you end up dying on the side of the road someday, I won't lift a finger to help. All the suffocating grievances and betrayals from her previous life came flooding back into her mind. I mustered all my strength and raised my hand to slap the other side of his face even harder. Jetyu let out a howl, covered his face, and blood seeped through his fingers. Lulu Lee stood up and shouted at me. How dare you hit my man? Who gave you the nerve? I stood still, glaring at her with a cold expression. Do you want to know how it feels to get slapped too? Those despicable people. I've been wanting to hit them for a long time. I rolled up my sleeves and waved at them. Otherwise, why don't both of you come at once? The two of them changed their expressions and stepped back simultaneously. They also knew that I was in good physical condition, and the two of them combined were no match for me alone. I can carry a 100-pound sack all by myself. I could also carry 50 pounds of wild jujube pits from home to the county town to sell, making a round trip of 60 miles in a single day. Once, Jetyu repeatedly teased me, saying I was as strong as an ox, like a man, with no trace of femininity at all. Little did he know that the comfortable life he enjoyed was bought with my health. After turning 50, my body began to develop various ailments frequently. I know it's from overworking when I was young, when I was in the hospital. Not only did Jetyu not take care of me, but he also used school duties as an excuse to not come home. Later, I found out that he didn't have time to take care of me because he was fooling around with Lulu Lee. Fortunately, in this life, I cut my losses in time and left that scumbag. The couple was intimidated by my powerful aura. I glared at them fiercely and warned, from now on, steer clear of me when you see me. Otherwise, I'll beat you up every time I see you. 6. I walked out of the house. Jetyu, for some unknown reason, actually chased after me. Myra Lynn. Wait, I have something to say. Jetyu, get lost. If you come any closer, I'll gouge your eyes out. Believe me. I pointed at Jetyu's nose. Are you an animal? Didn't you understand what I just said? Jetyu chased after me, and Lulu Lee became jealous again, her voice trembling with tears. Jetyu, come back. You're my man. Why do you keep pestering Myra Lynn? Are you still trying to hit on her? Lulu Lee screamed at the top of her lungs, ran forward, and grabbed Jetyu. Jetyu shook her off. I have something to ask Myra Lynn. No, Lulu Lee grabbed Jetyu's arm. You're my man. You can't keep this lingering connection with her. I continued walking forward. Jetyu broke free from Lulu Lee. Lulu Lee cried out as she chased after them. When Nyonyo saw both his dad and mom running out, he also ran out after them. While running, he kept shouting, "Mom, wait for me." The moment Nyonyo ran out, a maddened old yellow ox charged over. The hard ox horn lifted the child wearing a red vest. The old yellow ox let out an ear-splitting bellow, lifting Nyonyo high up and then throwing him down hard, blood flowing all over the ground. Seemingly frightened, the old bull raised its hard horns again and charged at Lulu Lee. Jetyu shouted loudly, seeing him. The old bull snapped back to attention and charged at Jetyu. Jetyu turned pale and ran toward me, shouting, "Myra Lynn, save me. Damn it, you're trying to get me killed." Quick as lightning, I grabbed hold of a large poplar tree nearby and scrambled up it in a flash. The old bull rammed headfirst into the tree trunk and died on the spot. I patted my chest, feeling a wave of fear wash over me. Thankfully, I'm in good physical shape and quickly climbed to the top of the tree. If it were someone else, they would surely have died under the bull's horns. Lulu Lee held Nyonyo tightly and burst into loud sobs. The production team sent a horse-drawn cart to take the children to the county hospital. Jetyu hesitated. He wanted to get on the cart, but he didn't want to go. Lulu Lee called out to him. He felt his pants pocket, looking troubled. I don't have any money." Both of them looked at me at the same time. Lulu Lee started crying again, calling out to me, "I know you have money, Myra Lynn. Please help us." Seeing the child bleeding non-stop, my heart softened. To be honest, I have no feelings for Nyonyo. This child has been corrupted by Lulu Lee's upbringing. Last time, when he knocked me to the ground, I still remember every word he said. Looking at the child covered in blood and flesh, I couldn't bring myself to refuse. After hesitating for a moment, I ran home to get the money. The carriage went first. I went home to get the money, and then ran to the production team to borrow a horse. Riding a horse is faster than taking a carriage. We arrived at the hospital almost at the same time. Inside the hospital, Jetyu was arguing with Lulu Lee. The doctor said the chances are slim. Do you still want to save him? Borrowed money to treat the illness, but the person couldn't be saved, and in the end, everything was lost. What do you think we should do? You don't have a job, and my salary is low. How are we going to repay the debt? Lulu Lee cried, as if making a great resolution. The child is yours. Do you want to save it or not? Jetyu froze. I was even more shocked. Jetyu noticed me and hurried over. I handed the money to him, turned around, and left. In my previous life, I always thought Nyo Nyo was the child of Big Brother and Lulu Lee. Little did I know, it was actually the result of Lulu Lee's affair with Jetyu. The feeling of betrayal made me tremble inside. Then, I comforted myself. At least I wasn't deceived for a lifetime. A few days later, Jetyu and his wife returned. Nyo Nyo died. It was a case of the chicken flying away and the eggs breaking. A total loss. After Nyo Nyo's death, the relationship between Jetyu and his wife grew even more distant. I often hear them arguing. Jetyu scolds Lulu Lee for being clumsy, unable to cook, and incapable of making money. Lulu Lee scolds Jetyu for being incompetent and earning too little. When poverty comes in at the door, love flies out the window. In her previous life, Jetyu had everything he wanted, all provided by me. Now, he's experiencing what it feels like to live without money. That day, it was said that the two of them had fought again. Lulu Lee had period cramps and wanted to drink some brown sugar water. Jetyu had no money to buy, and the two got into a quarrel, fighting with each other. Lulu Lee hit Jetyu's head with a hammer. Jetyu fell unconscious. When I heard the news of their fight, I just smiled, feeling very satisfied. Every villain meets his match. In my previous life, I was too good to Jetyu, and he didn't know how to cherish it. Now that he's with the one he loves most, let them torment each other. They finally understand that love and high ideals are worthless in the face of basic survival needs. 7. I continued to purchase mountain products and medicinal herbs. I would go home to sort and weigh them, then transport them to the city to sell. With the experience from my previous life, I knew which herbs were valuable and where to sell them for a good price. Less than a month after divorcing Jetyu, I used the money I earned to buy a horse-drawn carriage. A horse-drawn cart can carry more goods. I gathered a full cart of goods to send to the city. My parents saw that I was in high spirits and completely unaffected by the divorce, so they felt relieved. We set off early for the city, always leaving at 2 in the morning. My father, worried that I might be afraid as a young woman traveling alone, accompanied me in the cart. The carriage passed through the woods and was just about to turn onto the main road when a figure rushed out. The old horse raised its hooves and neighed twice. Fortunately, my father was an experienced driver. He grabbed the reins and calmed the old horse down. Thinking we had encountered a robber, I grabbed a machete, jumped out of the carriage, and prepared for a fight. That person, however, raised his hand first and shouted loudly, "Myra Lynn, it's me, Jetyu, damn it. Scaring people like that can kill someone. Doesn't this scumbag know that?" Furious beyond words, I raised my machete. Jetyu was greatly alarmed, just as the machete was about to strike his shoulder. I switched to the back of the blade. Even with the back of the blade, when it struck his shoulder, the sound of bone cracking could be heard. Jetyu had no time to dodge and immediately dropped to his knees. Ouch, it hurts so much. But he didn't get angry. Instead, he called out to me with a smile, "Myra Lynn, I'm off today. I'll go with you to sell herbs in the city. Sell my foot. Get lost. You're too dirty. I'm afraid you'll soil my entire cart of goods." I got back on the cart. My father raised his whip and accidentally lashed Jetyu across the face. The old horse kicked its 4 legs, and we continued on our way. Jetyu suffered a loss but couldn't speak of it, not daring to say that I was the one who cut him. He only claimed that he fell into a ditch while walking at night. He was also afraid that Lulu Lee would cause trouble for him. My career grew bigger and bigger, and I earned more and more money. I always keep my original intention in mind. One person's wealth is not true wealth. I want to lead my fellow villagers on the path to prosperity together. I have set up agricultural product purchasing stations in various villages, entrusting respected individuals in each village to manage them. Additionally, I recruit young women to work as sales clerks in my supermarket. The money they earned was more than what they could harvest from the fields, which not only helped with household expenses but also improved women's status in the family. My reputation grew higher and higher. Soon, I was featured in the city newspaper and was honored as a March 8 Red Banner paysetter by the Women's Federation. Jetyu still came to my house frequently, but he always did so behind Lulu Lee's back. None of our family members gave him a friendly look. When I got really angry, I would grab an axe, a shovel, or other tools to beat him. On my birthday, he got completely drunk, holding snow cream and hand lotion. He cried as soon as he saw me, Myra Lynn. Today is your birthday, this is my gift to you. In the past, I was sorry to you. For the sake of my health, you saved eggs for me to eat, but you couldn't bear to eat them yourself. Your face became dry and rough, yet you couldn't bring yourself to buy face cream. In winter, your hands were chapped from the cold, and you still couldn't bring yourself to buy hand cream. I received a bonus. This is just a small token of my appreciation. My eyes felt sore and hot, back in the day, during winter. I used to wash clothes barehanded in cold water and went to the mountains to chop firewood in heavy snow. My hands would freeze until they turned purple like eggplants, and when exposed to heat, they would ooze pus, causing both pain and itching. Jetyu has never cared about me. He dresses clean and decently, showing off everywhere. Seeing my eyes redden, Jetyu pushed his luck and tried to hug me. I kicked him away. Get lost. Believe it or not, I'll go find Lulu Lee and tell him about you harassing me. Jetyu and Lulu Lee argue every day. And Lulu Lee has also revealed his true lazy and gluttonous nature. However, Lulu Lee keeps a tight watch on Jetyu, afraid that if he lets go, he'll lose this meal ticket. Jetyu knelt down with a thud and told me the truth. I know I was wrong. Myra Lynn, that time you slapped me, it jolted me awake. A lot of things flashed through my mind, just like in a dream. After Nyonyo died, I was feeling down and didn't pay much attention. Later, I kept having dreams and realized I had been reborn. He wept bitterly, living a second life. I've come to realize that you are still the one who treats me best. I'll divorce Lulu Lee, and we can get back together. Okay, it was like a sudden revelation that cleared my mind. No wonder that day after I slapped him, he came to his senses and stared at me wide-eyed. When I left, he even chased after me. If he hadn't chased after me, Nyonyo wouldn't have died. It can only be said that everything is fated. Seeing me standing still, Jetyu wanted to grab my hand. I dodged away and laid my cards on the table. Just give up on this idea. My place isn't a dump. I don't take in every piece of junk. You begged me before you died to let you be together in the next life. Now, I have granted your wish. Jetyu, the blisters on your feet are from your own choices. I suggest you grit your teeth and keep walking. There is no cure for regret in this world. As a man, you not only lack any sense of responsibility, but you can't even control your own urges. And you have the nerve to ask for reconciliation. He's just looking at me making money and being able to provide him with a better life. In this lifetime, I hope those two are locked together tightly. I scolded him without holding back, and Jetyu's face turned bright red. Seeing that I was determined not to remarry, he hemmed and hawed for a long time before starting to scold me again. Myra Lynn, you know you have me in your heart, otherwise, you wouldn't have planned the divorce to get back at me. I waved my hand dismissively. Jetyu, the best revenge in the world is that I'm living better than you. You are not important in my heart, and I have no need to seek revenge on you. I simply want a divorce, to stay away from a scumbag, and live a peaceful life. Jetyu's eyes were red, and it was clear that he was filled with regret. Yet I found it all so ironic. He played his own good hand into a mess and got what he deserved. 8. After I made my stance clear and rejected the idea of getting back together, Jetyu never came to see me again. He continued to live his life with Lulu Lee. The two of them still argued. Jetyu was acting out of character. He took on all the household chores. Under Lulu Lee's pressure, he handed over his entire salary as well. Lulu Lee did nothing at home. Even his own underwear and socks were washed by Jetyu. The neighbor aunt teased him. Jet, I've never seen you wash clothes for Myra Lynn, and now you're starting to wash for Lulu Lee. Jetyu smiled wryly. It's all what I deserve. I let shit blind my eyes. Lulu Lee never lifted a finger for household chores. Burying herself in writing poetry every day and submitting her work to the provincial newspaper, she claimed she was the reincarnation of the literary star and would one day become a great poet. The postman came to his house every day to deliver and collect letters, spending several dollars a month on stamps. Over a year had passed, and she hadn't published a single poem. Lulu Lee's spending was too high, and Jetyu was furious, but had nowhere to vent. New Year's Eve. A day of family reunion and joyous celebration. Yet from the Yu household came the sound of quarreling. The neighbors heard the commotion and gathered to watch. Inside the Yu home, besides Jetyu, there were two other men. One was a postman. I heard Jetyu scolding, saying that the postman got involved with Lulu Lee, And he found out, another man, wearing round-framed glasses, looked refined and scholarly, pointing at Lulu Lee, crying so hard he could barely catch his breath. You promised me you would take good care of Nyonyo. How could you have caused his death? I went to the countryside to suffer, and it was all for you and our child. How could you marry someone else? Lulu Lee, what you're doing is illegal. Do you know that? I arrived too late, and it was the neighbors who told me the whole story. It turned out that Lulu Lee had already married someone else. The other person was also a rich peasant who had been sent to the countryside for re-education due to their poor class status. Lulu Lee, all alone and afraid of being persecuted due to her undesirable class background, married into the Yu family, who were poor peasants. While pregnant with her child, she was simultaneously involved with two men. However, since marriage registration was not connected to a network, no one knew she had married twice. After her first husband returned from re-education, he eventually found her after much difficulty. His own son died, his wife remarried, feeling betrayed, so he started arguing with Lulu Lee. Not only was the first wife angry, but Jetyu was even more furious. The veins on his forehead bulged, and his eyes were bloodshot. It was as if he could see a vast expanse of green above his head. Once, he thought his love with Lulu Lee was true. Little did he know, true love had planted a vast green pasture on his head. Bitch, I've been good enough to you, haven't I? For you, I divorced Myra Lin. For the sake of family harmony, I voluntarily handed over my salary and took the initiative to do household chores. When I was with Myra Lin, I never did these things. I gave you my heart and soul, and you actually cheated on me behind my back, and with so many people. When Nyonyo was hospitalized, you lied and told me he was my son. You've gone too far. Betrayal drove him out of his mind. Jetyu grabbed the shovel from the wall and swung it down at Lulu Lee. A piercing scream, blood was spilled all over the ground. Lulu Lee's arm was severed. Due to limited medical conditions, she had no choice but to undergo amputation to save her life. Jetyu was arrested and imprisoned. And he also lost his job. Lulu Lee had nowhere to go after being discharged from the hospital. She returned to her hometown hoping to reconcile with her ex-husband, but he refused and drove her away. After that, no one ever saw her again. 5 years later, my supermarket chain had expanded to over 20 stores across the province, providing employment for nearly 1,000 women. Their wallets have grown thicker, their status at home has improved, their backs have straightened, and they now have a voice in the household. My sisters are very grateful to me. I was honored as a National Outstanding Female Entrepreneur and went to the capital to receive the award. I also became a representative in the Provincial People's Congress, offering suggestions and advice for the country's development. Honored as I am, I have never forgotten my original intentions. On my way back from the conference, I encountered a beggar in tattered clothes at the train station. He hunched over, stopping every passenger to beg for money, sparing no one. When he approached me and recognized who I was, he turned and ran away. I shook my head and smiled, then embarked on a new journey.